This is the 10-Minute Contrarian Podcast. This is VP. We are a solutions-based podcast, diving into the world of contrarian investing and alternative finance. You can find us hosted on the No Nonsense Forex YouTube channel, NoNonsenseForex.com, and podcast players everywhere. Episode 50 is brought to us by ByBit. Did you guys see the video last week? If you haven't, you need to go watch the video. It's all about trading crypto and all about ByBit, which is my recommended crypto trading platform. And the response was very good. A lot of you signed up, but only some of you actually deposited and placed your first trade. You need to do that to get your bonus. So allow me to remind you of that. And the first ever No Nonsense Forex / 10-Minute Contrarian monthly contest is on. You can go sign up right now and get started. It's actually yesterday you could sign up, but it's a pretty chill, laid-back, sign up whenever you want type contest. So you can sign up a bit later, but don't sign up too much later. I mean, give yourself a chance to win. I will have a link down below in the description that takes you right to the contest page. And for anybody who places in the money more than once, let me know. And I will post you up on NoNonsenseForex.com for all to see. It is the 10-Minute Contrarian Podcast, and we are talking Metaverse again today, as we have done specifically 3 times in the past. So you know my feelings on it. You know, on this podcast, we're all about upside. We're all about asymmetry. We're all about getting in early. And if we really are dealing with the next social media or the next internet, then right now is the time we should be active. Finding projects, investing in or getting ready to invest in their tokens, and also, if we are allowed to, investing in pieces of that metaverse itself. Now, I have been actively doing this, as have many of you. In episode 32, where we talk about the Cardano ecosystem, that was a really big episode because it got hundreds of you over into Cardano, learning about it, and a lot of you got in early to some really nice projects, whether it was NFT artwork or actual more metaverse-related things. But we're going to focus on the metaverse here, and we will be talking about a Cardano project. Now, the metaverse overall, even though a lot of the tokens are dropping in value, I feel like the metaverse, as a point in time in our history, has gone through a bit of a boom-bust echo type scenario, and I don't even think we're in the bust. I think we're actually in the echo stage, because the hype has died out. The money, the initial money, a lot of it at least, has come out. You know, all the normie money that tried to get in the metaverse immediately because they thought it was going to take off in 5 months, which is ridiculous. They're gone. A good riddance. And other things have taken center stage. But just like commodities and just like crypto, the fundamentals have not changed at all. It's only sentiment that's gone down. Now, sentiment is important in the grand scheme of things here, but we like to invest when there's no eyes on the thing we're investing in, and a lot of eyes have turned away from the metaverse, unless you're a big corporation. You guys know I follow the metaverse very closely. I chart out all the projects, I stay on the news, and huge corporations are coming in almost every day. I mean, you have large hotel chains, banks, food companies, fashion companies, you know, the smart money, the successful money, they're all piling in. And that is typically in any market when you want to start coming in as well. Now, if you have been inactive on this so far, maybe because you feel like it's too overwhelming, it's too much to absorb, let me fix that for you this episode. We're going to go into one ecosystem and zoom in on one project. All right, so we're going to stay within Cardano. I love Cardano because you can get into these projects extremely cheaply, probably 1/20th to 1/50th of the cost of some of these other projects like you would find on Ethereum, for example. So if you're right, then you're going to get in super early, and if you're wrong, who cares? You know, the asymmetry here is very heavy. And when it comes to the metaverse, people always ask me to define it. You really can't. I tell people this, though. You know, I'm like, all right, there's 2 aspects to it. Either you are an open world type metaverse, so think things like Decentraland or Crypto Voxels or Pavia, to where it's pretty wide open and you can get land and put anything you want on it and just let it do what it does. And then the other side to it is the play-to-earn gaming aspect, which is just what it sounds. You know, similar to a lot of, video games you might have played in the past, but with a real money economy going on inside of it. And what's exciting about both of these types of projects is the people who get in and buy land and get things first are going to always have the best of it. Just like in life, there's the people who own all the things, and then there's the people who don't. You get to choose what side you're on right now. You may not have this luxury later. But if these things are ever really going to take off and become something someday, then I want to be a major player. Imagine not having to have a job because you did the right things early and you got in on a good project. Now, 1 out of every 10 of these projects is probably going to take off, so I suggest you invest in more than one. But I really do think that Cornucopias, which is, to me, a combination of an open world and a play-to-earn game, on the Cardano ecosystem, really, really has a great chance to become something great. So Cornucopias is almost like a futuristic take on village life. It's not one of these crazy neon light type, futuristic outer space type games, which I'm not big on. This is, there's a very real, authentic feeling to it. Even though you're going to be living in your own plastic bubble dome, with your own house, grass, water, everything everybody gets a plastic bubble dome. And then over time, you can build it up to something really nice and something that actually has sellable resources on it. Then you can actually go purchase land in other areas that have other resources that everybody in the game will probably need at some point. So think wood or granite, furs, marble, things like that. So it will have an entrepreneurial feel to it, but unlike completely open world games, if there's certain aspects of starting your own business that make you nervous, a lot of that's taken away in this game because it's already built in. It's a very plug and play business simulator in a lot of ways. So even if you're not great at business or you don't feel like you are, you can still do very well here because you'll be able to learn what to do in a very short amount of time. Now, unlike a lot of projects out there, we have all gotten to know the founders and even some of the devs behind this project. They are very open, everybody's doxed, and they put out all sorts of communication, and they do it often, which is good. Because if I had to play devil's advocate, the one, potential downside that I would see, and I don't see it as a downside, but what's going to scare a lot of people away early, I think, is this is a really ambitious project. Now, on their roadmap, they have hit their targets pretty well. But if for some reason the game were not to be released exactly when they said it was going to be released, it wouldn't surprise me because it's just such an in-depth experience with so many moving parts to it. But that's the great thing about Cardano. If you are a Cardano fan like I am, you understand the long game and you understand that great things take time. And I'm going to tell you right now, just about every Metaverse project out there that you can actually play and do things with looks like shit. And it's pretty basic. The reason why people loved so many MMORPGs back in the day is just because of how in-depth they were. You could pretty much live some of your life there if you wanted to. And that's what a really good Metaverse project aims to do. And I've said this before, if Metaverse projects like Cornucopias and Pavia and Cardania, for example, were active right now, they would absolutely smoke the competition. The big question is, 12, 18 months from now when all these games are released, what is it going to look like compared to the competition? Will the competition have caught up? But based on what I'm seeing right now, there's very few projects out there that could even compete on a scale with what these Cardano projects are about to put out within this year or maybe early next year. But anyway, this whole game already has its own wiki out. Now, the wiki isn't completely full, but if you sit there and read it, you can see how already in-depth this plans on being. So I will link that down below in the description. I also have, if you want a shorter version, I have a post that they put up on Medium that you can read. And you can also follow them on Medium if you want. And every week or so, the two main founders, Josh and Rob, have a YouTube program called the Copi Cafe, where they keep you updated on everything you would possibly ever want to know. Which I think is great because so many Metaverse projects at this stage in the game still have a lot of questions yet to be answered. Like even the developers don't quite know the answers yet. That's how early we are on some of these projects. So as an investor, it just feels good to have a lot of these questions answered already. So I will have all that provided for you down in the show notes. Now, let's talk opportunity. Cornucopias has not had its first land sale yet, but it is getting very close. So I thought this was a perfect time to bring this podcast episode to you. And oh, by the way, just about everything on all of these projects is a lot cheaper than it was when I first started getting into them, because the price of Cardano has dropped by more than half since I put that podcast out on the Cardano ecosystem. I was buying almost everything when Cardano was right about 105, 110. Now we're down to 50 cents. So right now is a beautiful time to get started. So here is how you should attack this. The first thing you need to do, if you haven't done so already, is you have to get a Cardano-enabled wallet. And a wallet that simply holds Cardano is not what I'm talking about. The ecosystem has their own wallets. I personally recommend, again, not financial advice, don't do anything I say, but I like the NAMI wallet, N-A-M-I. It's a simple browser extension. It's very easy, very lightweight, and there's nothing you cannot do on it. And setting up a second NAMI wallet and a third and a fourth and a fifth, if you want to invest in other projects like I do, is very easy. And then I just cycle between them. So do that, load it up with some Cardano, and you are ready to go. Now, you almost certainly want to join their Discord forum as well, so you can get any questions answered and stay on top of what's going on as it happens, especially when that land sale gets close. You'll want to be as informed and as ready as you possibly can, and they're very good with getting you there. Now, another tip for you before the land sale happens. There's going to be a hierarchy here. The OGs get to go first, the people who are with this project from the start. Too late for any of us to become an OG at this point, unless you do something really great for the community or something like that. There are ways, but the probability is not very high. But then second are the people who have already bought one of the motorized vehicles that will be used in the game. Now, you're going to want one of these anyway, because you can actually take public transportation if you don't have one, but nobody's going to want to do that. And these things are really cool, and there's going to be races and things like that. So either you can buy a Javelin, which is the skinny motorcycle thing they have, or a Bubble Jet, which is like what the Jetsons used to drive around on, but a lot cooler. People who own one of those two things will be able to get to buy land next. And then after that, it goes by how long you've been on the Discord forum. But you can move to not the front of the line, but near the front of the line by simply buying something that you will probably need in the game anyway. And if you don't know where to buy those things, you simply ask the Discord, and they'll be happy to answer those questions for you. But I suggest you buy one. That is an NFT that you will have for as long as you want it, and it will be your main transportation throughout the game. So I would do those things in that order if you want to get started. And just understand, if you participate in the land sale and you don't get the opportunity to buy land, because there's going to be a frenzy for that first land sale for sure, you can still buy land on the secondary market. It's usually going to cost you a little more, but sometimes if you play your cards right, it costs about the same as it would to mint the damn thing. And by minting, I mean whatever it cost back when the land sale occurred. So if you have the money, and in the Cardano ecosystem you need a lot less than you would elsewhere, you can always be a player in this game. Until the game actually starts becoming live and starts taking off, then you're SOL. The price will certainly be a lot higher by then. So that's why we're getting in now. If you remember, the episode I did on the Metaverse when it comes to actually investing in tokens is another way to play this if you just want to go the passive route. Once Cornucopias actually does launch, you're not just going to be able to sit back and do nothing for the most part if you really want to get the most out of it. If you want to generate a lot of income and be in that ecosystem and really take over, it's going to take some time out of your day. Now, if part of your day is already spent watching Netflix or playing regular video games, you can easily shift it from point A to point B and actually do something monetarily productive. But if you don't have that time, that's okay. Cornucopias does have their own token you can invest in. It's called the Copi token, C-O-P-I, and it is available on Cardano, or if you just don't even want to get into the Cardano ecosystem, you can also buy this token right now on the Binance Smart Chain. And I do believe it is considerably cheaper right now to buy it on the Binance Smart Chain if you're going to go that route. But I'm telling you, contrarians, when it comes to something with this level of upside, I put in the work and I do the research. And I just feel right now there is no other project out there that has a better chance of succeeding on a very large scale and that actually has some real longevity to it, then Cornucopias. And this is the perfect time to get into it because right now they have so much information out there available for you to learn more. And the first land sale has not begun yet. Right this moment, we are all officially in that very small sweet spot right in between those two moments in time. So as always, you do whatever you like, but I thought I would bring this to your attention. This program is all about finding great opportunities and simply bringing them to your attention. You have to take the ball and run with it and do the rest. So if this sounds good to you at all, I suggest you execute and at least get more educated on this project if you weren't already. Because even when it comes to the metaverse in general, we're still at that stage kind of back in the 90s when people didn't really know what the internet was and they thought it was absurd and nobody was going to send mail from one computer to another and nobody was going to actually want to do their shopping online. It's just absurd. It's crazy. Who would want to do that? We are going through that exact same narrative now with the metaverse. And might these people be right? Well, sure, there's a chance. I don't think it's a very big chance, but there is a chance. However, I don't think so. Really large corporations don't think so. And when the history on all this is finally written, I don't think we're going to be looked on as crazy at all. I think we will be looked at as the ones who are very early.